kids coming from wherever, and any feeling from you and stuff?
Well, I mean, if you're asking me in particular to Imhotep, I mean, they obviously have a unique situation where it gives them opportunities that other schools don't have. But with that said, they're simply playing by a set of rules and permits it. I mean, it's not their fault. Andre Noble's a class guy, and so is that team. I mean, those kids were all class. They played hard, but it's certainly a different dynamic than we have here at Newcastle.
Last night, Mike Mastroeni said that he thinks the whole thing needs to be reevaluated. How do you feel?
Well, it does. I mean, common sense, it does.
Why?
Because it's an equity. I mean, at every level, it's an equity. I mean, this is really the only level on all levels of basketball. I mean, NBA teams don't play Division I basketball teams. Division I basketball teams that have scholarships don't play Division III teams for championships because the circumstances are different. Okay, the ability to obtain players is different. Okay, and I get all that, but you know, it just is. So you have to acknowledge it and handle it because it hurts kids. But the kids for Imhotep and all the other kids that are a part of any of that, they're not doing anything wrong. They're simply playing by a set of rules that permits it.
What did you feel like you had to do to win this game? And did you feel like, Ralph, your kids battled and battled?
I knew they would fight. I mean, I knew they would fight, and I knew we had to shoot it outstanding because it was just going to be so hard to score around the rim. And it was. I mean, we didn't shoot a free throw.
Yes.
But we knew that. We knew that going in. That was our reality. And we thought we had to defend great and keep them out of the lane, but they came out really hot. I mean, they're fantastic. I mean, Edwards is fantastic. Milton, fantastic. Arnott was fantastic. They make pull-up jumpers. Those are great players. They made contested shots, and we were out a little bit late, and it affected our legs and some shooting late.
Anything about them that doesn't show up on film that you see in person?
Well, I don't think people acknowledge because they're so talented how well coached they are. Okay, talented teams can be really well coached. He's won 7 state championships. I don't know that every coach would have. Yeah, Andre Noble was a great coach. Those guys are prepared. And that was one of our biggest concerns going in, is that maybe you catch a team that's really athletic, really good, and they're so good, and maybe the coach just thinks that we can roll the balls out and play and just win. Well, you can expose teams like that. He's not going to let you do that.
How much of a dagger is that shot right before half? You guys have a chance to take it to, you're holding for the last shot there, maybe you go to.
It was huge. It was poor execution to start, and then obviously not very good time management.
Shot too early.
Yeah, we shot it too early. We went at the right time, but the screen wasn't very good, and we didn't pop to the corner. And then, like where the clock is, you know, Zay lost track of time and let it go, and as fate would have it, you know, we went in, and you know, and shots going in at the buzzer on all circumstances are momentum builders for the other team, and that one was huge, big difference in the game. And then they come out and start the second half on a 4-0 run.
Did you think if a game was in if you held them in the 50s, you had a decent chance?
Yeah, well, we said the 40s. You know, we thought we had to shorten the game, not by holding it, but just being patient, being really patient. And it was really important that we didn't take a bad shot, and we took a couple. But we thought if we could really make them work defensively, and then really do a decent job defensively ourselves, that if it was close at the end, that would be to our advantage. If we've been there as a favorite, I mean, it's a tough circumstance, and we just couldn't get there. Even at the end of the third, let's just get this thing under 10 and see how they respond. And you know, we did for a second. You know, cut it to 8, and they hit back-to-back buckets. But that's a great team still.
Coach, I don't want to really talk about the game. I was in the locker room listening to it. First off, I wanted to ask you, you know, what can you say about this group of seniors who, you know, worked their tails off to get to this? You know, what can you say in general about their...
Words can't describe investment. Mm-hmm. The investment is incredible for something like a sport. And if they have the ability to invest in other things in their life just like that, then they have to be successful. They have to be. And hopefully that's their biggest takeaway. is that if I really work hard at something, you know, it gives me every opportunity to be really successful, and I don't mind the discomfort that comes with that. That's what I hope the next 60 years looks like for them.
Coach, what can you say about Isaiah Boyce in the fourth quarter, just playing his heart out, making steals and everything like that?
Well, I mean, Isaiah, all the guys, I mean, Michael Wells, Michael Graham, those guys, you know, were completely, and that was the promise that they gave me, that it would be 32 minutes, coach, of everything we had, regardless of the circumstances, because we knew it could go sideways, and if it did, we were still going to be Red Hurricanes in spite of that, and they just continued to fight down to that last buzzer, and it was really hard with 35 seconds to take them out of the game, because those guys think there's a 13-point play out there somewhere where they can win it, and that's just how they think.
Ralph, I didn't get that, but could you just reiterate what you just said to him about these guys in life?
Well, just that we hope that the investment that they've put in, that helps them to understand that if you work really, really hard at things, like, good things can happen for you. And my hope is that as they move on in life for the next 6 years, that they take what they learn in terms of that investment and that hard work, and it impacts their life positively, their children, their future children, their grandchildren, or whatever. These kids right here have invested so much in this program. It's impossible to describe. They have put so much into this, and they got what they deserve, a ton of success.
You're hurting right now, aren't you?
Yeah, it's terrible, you know. But it isn't that. It's that this process is over. That, you know, I'm not going to coach Mike Wells tomorrow, or Michael Graham, or Kamara. I'm not going to coach him tomorrow, you know. So I'm hoping that these are far from the best days of their life.
Coach, first 4 minutes didn't bode well, and then Mike Wells got into a rhythm, and you guys started bouncing back. What can you say about these kids and fighting back in that first half? And then
The Newcastle kids, man. These are Newcastle kids, man. They don't know anything other than that. They came in here expecting to win this basketball game. As a coach, I had obviously concerns, and I knew what it was, and I knew how hard it was going to be. But not them. They expected to win, you know, and Mike hits back-to-back threes to just get us going. I mean, that's what a great player and senior does. I mean, that moment right there was as pivotal as any moment in any game, because that thing was going the other way really quick, really fast, and he knocks down 2 threes and gave us an opportunity. Next thing you know, it's 18-10, and, you know, we basically played them even the rest of the way.